She still can't even stand.
She's so wobbly.
Sean Wei Lee is furious.
She's upset. But 100%.
Welcome in everyone to a brand new edition of Axe Cake Picks, episode 204. Today is Friday, November 21st, 2025. Okay, we're only a few days from Thanksgiving. How we doing?
Doing good. I know we're into one of your favorite type of episodes, the post pay-per-view ones.
Post pay-per-view. We only got one more after this. Only one more.
No, come on. With the PLEs, we still gotta, put on the pay-per-view mantle, right? Like we're still gonna be able to go out with the boys, right?
Oh yeah, but it's the nostalgic effect, I think.
Yeah,
There's just no more PPVs anymore, unfortunately.
No.
But
Other pay-per-views, I see Cage Warriors. They're doing a double header. I know you
saw
like
that
that
guy make his trip to Qatar.
Not cause Elvin's cousin.
No, the Cage Warriors guy. He went on the mic in the press in the open mic, and he said, "I flew out here on my own dime. I made weight at 170."
Are we talking about Luke Riley?
No.
Oh,
No.
the guy who was like worried about the guy missing weight.
I'll get you the name. But he flew out on his own dime.
Wow. Yeah, I forgot what fight was he kind of like saying would miss weight.
It wasn't the Waldo Cortez because he was the guy that he was weighing at 170.
170. What, Jacker Manson and Mike Tech Orobly? He thought Orobly would miss weight or some shit?
Cage Wars welterweight champion Justin Burleson flew to Qatar and made weight on the off chance that a fight would fall through and he could step in to earn a UFC contract. You gotta respect it.
Hey, I thought it was for a specific fight. That's the thing.
He went on there on his own penny and said, "Fuck it, I'm gonna make weight, even though I don't have anything."
Do you think Dana gives him any cred for that? I mean, one guy who got the fight off of the press conference didn't turn out too well. You know what I mean? Like these last ditch efforts, these like Cinderella stories don't always pan out.
I don't think he gets anything, honestly.
Yeah.
Maybe a front row seat. That's about it.
Yeah, but yeah, you said he was a Cage Warriors guy, right?
Yeah, he's Cage Warriors champion. He's the
197's on right now. 197's on right now. I think you got UFC Fight Pass hosting 198 tomorrow. A lot of early cards tomorrow. Octagon has their 80th event, and even LFA 223 tonight. Yeah, if you want to check into that.
Yeah, I actually had the opportunity to talk to Aspen Ladd's brother, Shaler Ladd, yesterday on his amateur career, 9-0. He's 3-0, all finishes in the professional banner in LFA. Talked about how he got started. Yeah, he was a good guy. He was first time out here on the East Coast. He homeschool guy up in the mountains. He trains with Anthony fucking Hernandez and
if you don't, of course, know that's Aspen Ladd's brother.
Yeah, 100%. So he's 3-0. He said he said him and his coaches think he's ready for the UFC, but he would like a couple more fights under his belt. So good luck to him tonight. Yeah, should be really fun. Kid, y'all must have forgot. Islam Makhachev absolutely dominated Jack Hermanson. And I want to ask you right off the bat, do you think emotions were too high for JDM? And because I think when he's calm and he's cool, like the Bilal fight, he performs better. But emotions were high. He was putting that angry face on.
Wanted to do the arm extension and the weigh-ins. All the body language experts were on top of that one.
Yeah, that's just not him. And I just feel like he was absolutely dominated. Islam wins. And honestly, it was 50 times 40, 50, 45 times 3. Thought I scored it 50 times 44. To be honest, I know it was probably no damage, but
where was the dominant round? Was it like into the third or fourth? When
it was. I did round 3 was 10-8 round. He just dominated, and I think one of the biggest mistakes JDM made was trying to grapple him and try to flip the position. Just stand and try to box him,
It was just too dumb, like too different of a level with the grappling. It's unfortunate. It's like what game plan, right? Like the game plan kind of gets thrown out the window when you get defeated, when you're somewhat will is taken in there because, you've worked so hard and you are even the champion coming in, but it seems inevitable that you're going to be taken down. And I see in the corner, like shades of Leon, unfortunately, who was also on this card, that it didn't seem the fighter was into it as much as the corner, was still into the fight. It seems they were kind of defeated in there.
His
So,
will was taken from him.
Yeah, it's a lot of his corner just trying to get him remotivated and get him back locked into the fight, and he just couldn't. That's my fear, was that the moment would have been too big for JDM. I think he has all the talent in the world, and look at how quickly he became champion. But you're going against a juggernaut of the sport in Islam Makhachev, like we talked about with Habib legacy and their father Abdul Manap. It's a lot riding against you in your young career, and it just it just didn't rise to the moment, and I just think that's unfortunate for JDM. Currently, this welterweight division's absolutely stacked for him to rise to the top, to rise to the cream of the crop. All these surging, young, hungry 170 pounders. That says a lot for Jack Della Maddalena. A lot of people hating on him right now. I think the man should keep his head up high, and he looks forward to some good things, because there's some great fights for him in the future. But it's also about Islam and what he's able to do. I know you might not like it, but it's inevitable, it seems, with these strong wrestling backgrounds, that they're going to dominate.
Yeah. And, finally, officially a 2-division world champion for Islam Makhachev. Probably the best lightweight ever.
Yeah.
He's reaching that GOAT status. He really is. Like, at least he's the most dominant fighter I've ever seen. And
love it or hate it, it's you got to stop it.
And to be honest, I know a lot of people want to see knockouts, and they were like, "Wow, the first 3 fights on the main card were all knockouts," and they were like, "Oh, we saw 20 or we saw 50 minutes of just grappling." I was excited. I loved it. I mean, just because I feel like I don't want to. I'm not a casual, so I feel like I loved it. If you can't respect the dominance of the Bullet and Islam, what they were able to do for 5 rounds, then
look at the fight we just came off of as well. The co-main event, how dominant wrestling turned out.
Yes, that's what I'm saying. So
and
back
size is a factor. Look at the mass he put on well. We look at John Jones and how he adapted to the new weight class well. Wanted to take some time to put it on, and maybe it's unfortunate for us because the entertainment in a sense, right, on the feet, but and also entertainment in the sense of Islam being as active as we may like. But look what happens when you take the time, and you take your time inside the ring. He took his time returning to this new weight class and took his time in the octagon, very methodical and just very smart. Like, these guys are professors of this game. And if, we'd see time and time again, fighters go into this camp to kind of, I think, get a grasp of it. These guys, they have a hold of what it takes to be on top of the game.
I mean, if you thought he was scary at 150 or 155, this man is even scarier at 170 massive. Right now. He is massive. There's a lot of fights for him.
Weight cuts are easy.
I know I said the game plan kind of went out the window early on, and I didn't think it was a good fight or game plan, but it kind of went out the window for JDM. I guess one positive thing, he didn't get submitted. He was fighting the hands, and there were a lot of submission attempts for Islam.
Where was it the closest? I know he was getting more dominated as it got latter, but it was like only the second round where the submissions were the biggest threat, weren't they?
It was early on in the fight. Yeah. But I guess anything you could take positive from Jack, because it just didn't look good, I felt.
No, yeah, that's the only thing. I just think that you keep your head up high from this, because you do lose a little bit of stock. And I think it's you just kind of got dust it off and move on and look forward to the next fight that you'll get. Because, like I said, you're going to have some hungry killers still trying to not only get to the title, but get through you. So
I want to go back to the chief support in a little bit, but I want to stay on the welterweight division.
Oh, yeah. I love that.
It was a huge night for them. And personally, we'll see how the co-main event shapes out here this weekend in Qatar. But I think the kid out of Ecuador has the inside track.
We've been calling it.
Because at the end of the day, Sean Brady, if he would have won this fight, he was getting the title shot. And my thing was, I know Dana White said, like kind of nonchalant, tongue-in-cheek, said, oh, yeah, the winner of this gets the next title fight. Call me a fool, but I'm going to believe the boss. He said the winner of this is going to get the next title shot. And why? And I know people want to see, just for their own amusement, they want to see Carlos Prates taking on Michael Morales.
But you can't. Because if you're arguing against the co-main for this weekend, look what Gary did to Prates. And I know we see maybe a little evolution from Prates, but Ian Gary showed level there.
It's just, why would you even do that from a matchmaking? You
Morales.
can't not even skip him. It's, why would you kill off one of your guys? Have Purchase fight, either get the Ian Gary fight next if he wins, or fight Bilal, or maybe Shavkat when he returns. But Michael Morales, he is the real deal. He maybe he came in hurt, Sean Brady. You saw with the knee guards, but he just never had a shot. And he is so big for welterweight. We forget his mom, Olympian jiu-jitsu practitioner, his dad judo belt.
Yeah.
And even his stance, like with the hips.
I was just going to say, him staying low too, keeping the arms always ready for underhooks, shooting those underhooks under, and then throwing the shots from low. You know, like
he just has power, kid.
Bro,
like,
he's so
he
big.
Hit Sean Brady and he wobbled him the first time. I said, "Oh, it's over." Like,
dude, he felt him one time. I was like, I said it first 10 seconds. Like, he's got to find a way to get this to the ground. Like, this is not going to be good.
No,
and he just
massive.
selected too many punishing shots, bro. He's big for 170. I think that might be the biggest thing, is him trying to make 170. He hasn't had trouble before, right? I haven't seen any trouble for him making weight in the past, but that might be the only issue, is him making weight properly at 170, because just how big he is. But yeah, no history of it before. So undefeated guy, like you said. You have a loss on Gary's record. Prate's lost to Gary. Yeah, if you're saying that Sean Brady and Michael Morales was the basically number one contender fight, yeah, you give it to the young upstart Ecuadorian Michael.
I mean, he's 26 years old, 3 knockouts in a row. He's undefeated. And I feel like we all say he has a puncher's chance, but
do it again against Islam, do it again against Michael Morales. The argument could be safe for the same.
Yeah. So
I beat up an amazing striker who seems to be able to knock down takedowns.
And I think for Carlos Pratchess, I mean, what a feather in the cap. You knock out a guy who's never been knocked out before. It's a former champion, Leon Edwards. And after the first round, I still gave it, even though he really wasn't doing anything on the back, Leon.
He took the takedowns.
And you even saw it in Carlos Pratchess's face. He was just like, bro, like, you're boring me. You're a wrestler now. Yeah, exactly. And then it was that straight right or straight left.
Yeah, that kind of lunging.
It lunged right into him. And as soon as he did it, his eyes went back and he was over. And then just one for good luck.
Gruesome follow-up shot. Yeah, bro.
Oh, yeah, it was gruesome. But Carlos Pratchess, I told you, he was my favorite pick on the fight. And
one of the more exciting fighters, bro. And this whole welterweight class that's absolutely stacked.
What do you do with him? Because I feel like Michael Morales is the fight to make next for Islam. Maybe after Ramadan, we'll see. But what do you do for Michael Morales? Do you put him against Shavkat? Not Michael Morales, excuse me, Carlos Pratchess. Do you wait for Ian Gary? Because if Ian Gary wins, does Ian Gary get the next title shot? Because he has a win over him.
That's the thing. The Gary having a win over Pratchess kind of like holds him back a little. So yeah, I could see how you could throw Morales in for the title shot. I mean, are we going to put Ian Gary, right? He beats Bilal Muhammad, right? I think
if Ian Gary wins, regardless, if he knocks out Bilal, he's next.
How about if Ian Gary wins by knockout, you can maybe give him the shot, but have Morales in the wings, because you don't want to blemish the undefeated record, and have Prates fight Bilal Muhammad. Maybe that could happen.
Yeah, I agree. Even if Bilal wins,
you can still have a fight, Precious.
No, I still think he needs one more. Maybe a Shavkat, but he needs one more.
Weren't they supposed to fight and that never happened, right? Bilal and Shavkat?
Yeah, because
so you could do that too. Shavkat's kind of the wild card here that you could just inject into. It's his injuries that are holding him back the most.
Not to go back to the main event, but I want to see Ilya versus Islam.
Yeah, that we can do that too, right? If we really want to go big.
But he hasn't even defended it.
That's why I feel like we have this weight class here. You signed up for it. Here you go. Let these two guys defend where they're at, right? We should have done it. We missed out on the opportunity. Let's move on. Like, maybe down the line, maybe if these guys keep defending, maybe we can get that super fight.
All right, I think I got it.
Yeah.
Islam versus Michael Morales. So it all depends, right?
It's a little tough.
It all depends. So right now, as it stands, Islam versus Michael Morales, Carlos Pratchess versus Shavkat, Bilal versus JDM.
if he wins.
If he wins. And
So
then
winner fights JDM. Then you can
and
see
then
Ian
Sean Brady
Gary.
fights Ian Gary.
Because you can't do Sean Brady fighting Bilal again, right?
No,
But
he beat him.
you could do it if Ian Gary loses. Have Leon fight Ian Gary.
Are we forgetting one of the best champs ever in Kamaru Usman? If he gets the title shot, because people have been clamoring for it.
Is he doing 185 though? Or he said he's staying at 170, even though he's
staying
at 185. Yeah, I mean, hey, that's what makes this division great. You know, I think
and his manager's
rising.
claiming for it, Ali.
It seems a lot Ali wants, he gets, unfortunately.
Yeah. And he does represent Islam as well. Do you think that has any hold?
Conflict of interest, but at the end of the day, you just trying. I guess the only way to get about it when you're sponsoring two athletes is say how much money you guys can make. So,
what was more impressive in your opinion, Michael Morales' knockout of Sean Brady or Carlos Precious's knockout of Leon Edwards?
I like the Precio's knockout.
Really? Because he's never been knocked out before?
Yeah, you know, and Morales, it was impressive, but I don't know. I feel like I expected that a little bit more.
Yeah.
Right? After seeing what Leon did in the first round, it looked immediately Sean was outgunned right from the get. So in the first round, you saw a hole in Precio's. I didn't expect him to be able to get the finish in the second. I saw him possibly do it in the third. So the shotgun right hand, left hand, right down the pipe, which was unexpected in the second.
Yeah, no, I would agree. I think we kind of saw it coming. It was not a matter of if.
You and I have been calling for Morales for a while and how good he is and how young he is.
I'm going to claim to two fighters if they hold UFC gold. Michael Morales and Natalia Silva. I've been claiming for them since they were lower ranked.
Fatima too. Don't forget about
Fatima Klein. I did say we'll get to Fatima Klein in a minute. But yeah, I would agree. It was not a matter of if for Michael Morales, it was when he was going to knock Sean Brady out. But I agree. I think Carlos Precio's was it was better because you come back from the spinning back elbow, and then you go and knock out a former champ who's never been knocked out before.
Yeah, he's on a tear.
Yeah, he's back. And probably the best fighting nerd right now.
And speaking of real quick, now that you mentioned that though, they should seize the opportunity to, you know how they had Valentina Shevchenko use the Oakley Meta glasses.
Mm-hmm.
They are sponsored by Meta. Why can't they use the Ray-Bans that look like the nerd glasses, put the little piece of tape on them, and have all the fighting nerds wear it? Boom,
that's perfect. A good call. Wasn't Alex Pereira wearing it?
There you go. I mean, I don't think they had the Meta with the tape in the middle, but if they did, boom, simple fighting nerd representation.
That's a sponsorship right there. Yeah. If I ever fucking heard one.
Come on, sign this.
16 seconds BS. He's back. He's back, kid. What a fucking knockout. He moves up 5 spots into the top 10 at that lightweight division. Real quick before, because obviously the story is BSD. I thought it was a telling sign when Benny missed weight. You know, that's never a good sign. It's only twice in his career that he's missed weight. I say it all the time. We're not in the business of retiring fighters, but maybe one more fight for Benny and get out, right?
Unfortunately, like you said, I hate to say it, but I mean, you get immediately your lights get shut out. You get touched, right? And it just, maybe you could sign up to a little of the notion that Benny just always goes in there. As I said, every time and time again, Benny's one of the more intelligent fighters. This whole UFC roster, yeah, he fights like a wild man. he really does, right? So you saw him get in there and get in close against BSD and bring the fight to BSD. It's just one of those looping shots around the ear and shut the lights off. It might have been a perfect shot, but after seeing it a couple times now, Arman Sarukian's done it to him, now BSD, and those type of fashions at this age, it's tough. And you're seeing the deepest of waters 155. You're not seeing any weak competition that's going to come and try to take it from him, take that number from him. So, you know, it's tough to say. It's also tougher to see, and we don't want to see any of our guys get hurt. So, yeah, that was kind of telling, like you started.
What do you think's next for BSD? Maybe like a Matu Scamrot. Maybe it.
Yeah, I mean,
we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens in this fight too. You know, in the main event.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, maybe the loser of it is what you're saying, kind of deal.
Because Dan Hooker's 6. If he shocks the world and knocks out Arman Sarukian,
you got to give him a title shot.
Yeah.
and then Armin Sarukian fights BSD. That'd be cool.
I
Yeah.
guess
BSD is such a cool fight for anybody, so that's why it makes it interesting.
I just don't know. I have an inkling. I think it's going to be Patty versus Ilya.
Yeah, I think they're doing that. They're just rising Patty slowly through the ranks, like kind of trying to sweep it under the rug. We all see it. We all see what you're doing, UFC. But at the end of the day, the lightweights are doing it to themselves, right? You're having losses throughout the rankings above him. What else are you supposed to do?
Where does that leave a guy like Justin Gaethje, though?
Yeah,
Max
and I
Holloway?
agree with Dan Hooker's stance on that, where you can't just, kind of whine and cry and just, oh, I don't want to play if I don't get my way. Like, that's not
Cut
how
him!
No, but you got to take the fights. But maybe you could do that. Maybe Justin Gaethje, Dan Hooker. We haven't seen that fight, right? So,
If he loses.
yeah, you could see Justin Gaethje taking that.
But it really seems like it, and I agree with you. You can't just call and say you want this fight and then not fight, but it seems like he's really sticking to his guns on this. Like, he says if he doesn't get the final, then he's not going to fight. He has nothing to prove.
Yeah. There's nothing left for him then.
Yeah. So he's kind of just taking up space right now.
You got to kind of call his bluff, though, right? But it's
Yeah.
like maybe at a certain point you give him what he wants. Is if the whole division is working out the way it does, and you're steadily rising, Patty Pimblett, how can you not rise a legend of that weight class?
Justin Gaethje, Max Holloway. Do you like that or no?
That's done and over with. We saw it at 300, bro.
What do you do with Max Holloway then? Charles Oliveira?
Yeah. That I know that we don't want to see fan favorites go toe to toe, but
that's why I was very hesitant to say it.
Yeah, you got to do that. You got to do. It's time. It's time.
Yeah. All right. Well, shout out the three performance of the nights in a
on the
row,
main card.
rightfully deserved. But the Chiefs support,
Yeah,
and still the
Wow.
bullet, Valentin Shevchenko,
Go.
50-45 times 3. I said it. I want to say maybe a year ago. Valentina is the GOAT. Maybe her and Amanda Nunes have to be on the same level right now. I don't care what happens with Kayla and Amanda. When you speak on the bullet and Valentina Shevchenko, you need to speak on the same level and respect as Amanda Nunes. She is the GOAT.
Vice versa. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
So
And they both their losses in their careers. Even look at Weili Zhang, right? She had lost to Rose, right? She's beaten everyone else, but she lost to Rose, and now she's only lost to Valentina. But Valentina, she's only had the squabble with Alexa Grasso is like her only hiccup, really. Yeah. And like we said, maybe you could say the Amanda Nunes, but we know in the fans' hearts who may have won those fights. We argue that Valentina Shevchenko won both of those fights. So yes, as it turns out, who's got the victory? It is Amanda Nunes, but Valentina Shevchenko is the queen of the flyweight division, and will be for some time. I don't know if we're gonna ever see this type of dominance again. Might be for a while. She's a gem of a person and a great champion as she's always be. And I guess we got to see what's next, right? Because now you're going to have challenger Weili Zhang and strawweight again, and you're going to have some of the new faces at 125. Maybe, once again, got to mention it, Fatima Klein, Natalia Silva. I remember now we're getting some of these new evolution of women's mixed martial artists at 125 and 115. I think it's going to be.
Joe Rogan kept asking her, "Are you going to go down? Are you going to go down?" And she really didn't say, but obviously she's probably going to go back down. I think you mentioned the weight, and the challenger in the main event looked like it was no problem, but the challenger here, she couldn't do anything. She was powerless on the ground, and it looked like Valentina did anything she wanted to her.
I think also two separate instances of the camps. And I think, not to say that Weili's camp isn't great, but, the game plans going into this, I don't think we're as, smart. I hate to say that, but yeah, you look at Valentina Shevchenko, she came in with an absolute game plan.
She traveled the world too.
Yeah, to utilize her weapons and their strengths and to go in there and find the holes in Zhang's game and capitalize on that, and she did. But Weili Zhang, I think she relies a lot on her athleticism and being able to muscle her opponents. You see that a lot and outstrike them, and then a lot of her opponents she's able to hurt. But with the size and strength and skill advantage that Valentina had in there, it was night and day. Honestly, like you said, there wasn't a moment in this fight where Valentina was in trouble. You would think Wei Li out of all the people would be able to do so. But I mean, she absolutely dominated and, puts a stamp, I think, in this, pound for pound rankings too. She's got to be the number one women's pound for pound.
Yeah, she is right now. She's the
Yeah.
number one pound for pound. She's the flyweight champion. And to be honest, I think the biggest loser in this fight has to be Mackenzie Dern. Because
you got to fight Wei Li.
Zhang Wei Li.
Yeah, you were hoping they had a trilogy at 125.
Yeah, so it's unfortunate, but she's probably going to go back down to strawweight and fight Mackenzie Dern, try to get that belt back. But honestly, kid, I was very shocked at the power discrepancy of the weight.
And the shots hurt. That knee on Wei Li came in our first round, bro. At the end of that round, boom, that knee just dropped her, and she just wound up on top. And
she's a complete martial artist.
Complete martial artist.
Complete
human.
Yes, complete human. She was so humble in victory, giving the belt to her lifetime coach. She's just an amazing human being, if I'm being honest.
Yeah.
And
dancer.
She's married to the game. Like, she's not going to have children, she said. And she wants to fight. She loves to beat people up. And I fucking love that.
She came into killer shape. Like I said, she's able to, it was a polyglot. You could speak all those languages. She speaks more than 4, I believe. Yeah. Dancer, gunfighter, model, all around badass.
Everything.
Mixed martial artist, Valentina Shevchenko, the bullet, the GOAT.
Anytime you see Valentina post on social media, the only thing I better see in the comments are
go
emoji. Like, you just better put it and put fucking some respect on her name. Yeah. Bo Nickel, he got a performance of the night. He is back. He was he was flipping off the crowd. He said, "Pick a side. You either boo me or you love me." And honestly, I respect that because some people were booing him. Some people cheered when he got the knockout, and he's still young. He was being emotional. He was like, "Hey, look, I'm a human being just like you guys." But I'll say this: after that loss on RDR, Bo Nickel looked good in there.
Yeah, he's putting it together. Definitely working on the striking. You can see the evolution, and he played it back on his social media, how he was setting up that head kick, and he got it done in the 3rd round. Rodolfo Vieira, he's a little older had joined mixed martial arts, right? Spent majority of his first decade of his fighting career in jiu-jitsu, and then now the latter part of getting into mixed martial arts. I don't think you can collect too many shots this late in his career. And like I said, he's a jiu-jitsu guy, so it was tough to see. You hate seeing that. He was even mentioning that it's the worst part of the business to have you hurt other guys, but men and women, they sign up for this. So yeah, kudos to Rodolfo Vieira getting up, and definitely going to see him in the future. But Bo Nickel, I think the hype may have died down a little bit, but I don't think the talent has. I think he's very talented.
He reminded everyone.
Yeah.
He reminded everyone. So yeah, shout out Bo Nickel. He is back. Big knockout with the kick, and it was scary for Vieira. He was out quite a while. So thankfully he is okay now. The under 1.5 with Gregory Rodriguez and Romo Kopylov was never in play. Gregory Rodriguez wins unanimous decision. So he gets the win. I thought that was a boring of a fight. I thought
Kopylov does nothing anymore. He just gets in there, just stands there for 25-15 minutes and takes pictures. And it was that's the thing. It was Gregory Rodriguez from start to finish.
Yeah. Cold-blooded Blanchfield gets her revenge and gets a submission over Tracy Cortez.
Shout out the hometown girl, bro. She's right in your neck of the woods.
Yeah.
She got you.
Yeah. I mean, she lost round 1. And my thought was after the first round, I was like, okay, we're good. Tracy was picking her apart on the feet, and Aaron just kept walking forward, and I was just like, all right, you're gonna keep walking into these punches straight in your mouth. And then she got her on the floor, and I was like, fuck.
Different game.
Yeah, and I knew it did not look good. And when she choked her, I was like, oh my God.
Vicious.
That shit, that was vicious. And I was like, that's
heat,
tight.
Bro. That's tight.
It was tight. And when she rolled her over, it was over.
Yeah,
it was over. You got to give credit where it's due. Aaron Blanchfield. Why does she always throw the mouthpiece out when she wins?
Hey, that's a dope celebration. I don't know.
I don't know if it's dope, but
give me the mouthpiece.
It is a comeuppance. She does get the win. But she really doesn't move the needle in terms of selling a fight. She's not next. I think she's one away. She's one away.
I was looking at Cortez the whole week, man, and I wanted to take that plus money, but look, when they fought the first time, Erin Blanchfield was only 18, 19 years old. You know what I mean? Like, she took advantage of her when she was young and not as experienced, but now you look at a more evolved Erin Blanchfield, who still, don't get me wrong, still has to improve on the feet because her own teammate, Fatima Klein, we keep talking about her. If unfortunately we don't think they want to fight, and both teammates did win, but if you squared them up together, I think I might take the newcomer.
I'm taking Fatima Klein.
Yeah, I just think there's a little bit of separation with Erin Blanchfield striking, unfortunately. But when it comes to the ground, her wrestling, her jiu-jitsu is unparalleled. She can submit pretty much any woman on the planet, and she put Cortez out.
You know what I think? Because I think Natalia, so they did show her when the co-main event happened, and they put the camera right on
Yeah, they were
her.
cheering for each other.
No. I'm saying after the co-main event, they put the camera on Natalia Silva, so it all indications look like she's next.
I thought you were talking about
agree.
the back of the locker rooms, but yeah, definitely, I think Natalia Silva's next.
So what I was getting at was, I think next because I do think Erin Blanchfield is right there. She's one away. See if you could beat Manufio. If you could get the revenge on her. You already beat Alexa Grasso. There's no point in doing that. There's no real fight for Erin Blanchfield.
She's in a little bit of a tough spot.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So get that fight back. If you could beat Manufio, if you could beat her, you're gonna get the next shot. And we'll see how Natalia Silva. I don't think they risk it. Natalia Silva has nothing to prove anymore. She is the rightful next champion. She is next champion, and I think she's going to beat Valentina. Is that crazy for me to think?
We've been backing her for quite a while.
I have to die on the hill at this point.
Yeah, I can't take that away from you, bro. Yeah, and she's got all the talent in the world. She's a really good fighter. Really good fighter.
On just 2 days' notice, Ethan Ewing delivers the biggest upset at Madison Square Garden over a guy in
the hottest prospect in MMA.
Literally, he was one of the hottest prospects. Everyone was like, "Oh, he's gonna get the first round knockout." Shut up. Ethan Ewing outclassed him, and then went to construction on Monday.
He's the safety guy. Hey guys, please don't get hurt.
Yeah, like this guy needs to quit his job. I hope Dana took care of him. Dana said, "Listen, something's coming in the mail for you. We're gonna take care of you." I'm so happy for him. I think Malcolm,
he's got probably great benefits. He's a safety guy in his job. Guys, the position he has at that construction gig is fantastic.
Yeah, but he needs to.
He's a professional athlete at the highest level of competition. You shouldn't have to do that. Yeah. But maybe some guys do. Maybe it's something that he's used to. He's used to going to the construction site, 6 a.m., gets home at 2, gets himself ready for the gym.
But at a certain point, you can't always do that.
No, there's other people dedicating their entire day, the first half of their day, to completely training and doing all that.
And that's what he should be able to do.
You can't knock him. And like I said, maybe there are some routines. There may be some routines that you don't want to break. Maybe we could see. And it's like we said, we don't have to want to have our pro fighters let's keep a second job, but let's see. Maybe he could, stay the safety guy. Like I said, it is an easy kind of gig. You're not the laborers. You're the one that's just, like I said, making sure nobody's getting hurt under your watch.
If you want to advance in the featherweight division, you need to dedicate your whole day to training.
Okay.
And I'm not knocking the guy. I love him. I think
he's an FA1 champ, right? Uriah Faber's.
Yeah, another Uriah Faber guy.
He came out of there.
And to be honest, everyone doing the whole Ewing joke at Madison Square Garden, you're whack. That shit was so whack.
What? I never seen that.
No, and
Ewing.
I'm not even gonna name names.
Oh, wait, he hit the rim or something.
No, because they were like, that's the first Ewing who's won in Madison Square Garden. That shit was so whack, and I'll say I'm not even gonna say names because we've actually had the guy on the pod, but it was poor taste. If you know, you know. You know who's an easy guy to root for? Kyle Dawkins.
The Dark Knight. How did we not see that coming?
What a submission over GM3. I mean, he gets it in like 50 seconds in the first round. Was so good. He's going to return home. He just seems like a very easy guy to root for.
Yeah. I was glad to see that finish after a kind of spree of decisions I'm looking at here. Oh yeah, even Bysongor kind of let me down.
You know who's really good? It was a night for the East Coast, so we'll get to Fatima Klein in a sec. But Pat Sabatini, I mean, watch out, Aljo! In that featherweight division, I mean, Pat
His
Sabatini
grappling is
good.
Yeah, his grappling is real, bro.
Fatima Klein is a future champ. I said it about last time she
Natalia
fought with
Silva and Fatima Klein. These girls are next. Like these girls
Yeah.
are the evolution of the sport. We see how good their striking is, and they have it on the ground, right? They have a complete package now.
And her striking, when she pieced up Angela No Kill Hill, who's been in the UFC for 30 years, it seems like it was amazing. It was an amazing performance. I thought she was going to get the finish. I need to see a little more finishes out of her, but on the feet, on the ground, this girl, she has everything, kid.
Yeah,
she is so fucking good.
Big fan of
Yeah.
hers.
Big fan. That's about it. I mean, the other fights weren't really.
That's why. Yeah.
But overall, kid, how did you do?
Yeah, I went 6-6. You know, we did better on the straights. Props didn't hit, but you know, we chug along. We keep on.
Yeah. Yeah. So overall, 4-2. They didn't get there with JDM, and then we didn't get there with Tracy Cortez. But overall, it was a pretty good night for me as well. So, any, I guess, big takeaways for UFC 322?
Yeah, just that, you know, welterweight was affected a lot.
Mhm.
We get to see 115 maybe move a little bit, right, for the women.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's what we're gonna get. I think we're gonna get some, you know, clarity as we approach the end of the year. One more pay-per-view left. So yeah, it was a good run, ESPN. But the time is now.
Real quick before we get to UFC Qatar, incredible performance. Shout out you by Conor Benn.
Yeah, Conor Benn, man.
He wins 119-107, 116-110, 118-108.
You got the knockdown in the 12th, man.
Yeah, 2 knockdowns in round 12 to secure the victory. He won the unanimous decision. It was evident.
It was kind of scenes, though. Not gonna lie, like seeing them, mad respect for one another. You know, all of them. The fathers
made a lot of fucking money.
They made a lot of money together, and then also like them calling it for the trilogy. And
good.
Conor Benn being like, no. So maybe they need to get some other wins under their belts, and maybe we could run this back to see what's what.
What do you think about the trilogy? Do you want to see it?
No, I agree. I actually, yeah, I say, yeah, you can easily run it back, but look how we reacted to the second matchup in short period of time, less than 6 months. They had a rematch, and we weren't about it. So yeah, let's let it breathe and maybe address this down the line.
Yeah. All right, kid. Before we get to UFC Qatar, a quick word from our sponsor. We're brought to you each and every episode by Viva Tequila Seltzer, the most refreshing hard seltzer on the market, hands down. There's no wonder why Viva was voted #1 hard seltzer in the world by San Francisco World Spirit Competition. With only 88 calories, 0 carbs, 0 sugar, and a light 4.5 ABV. Viva is the perfect drink for your post-game celebration, as it was created with that active lifestyle in mind. We flavor tequila seltzer because flavor is the spice of life, and we like our drinks. So just a kick, just like how we like our lives, whether it's Huckleberry playing a round of golf with the boys or an early elderberry Saturday morning watching UFC Qatar. Our favorites pair perfectly with that Artisanal Blanco tequila for that subtle and refreshing drink, I believe, here at Axe Kick Picks and at Viva is to live long, live well, and live it up. Set your alarms, kid.
Early.
UFC Qatar prelims go off at 10 a.m. here on the East Coast. Main card starts at 1, kid, and we will start. By the way, what's with Armin headbutting? That's the most stupidest thing. Like, if the main event goes away, he's an idiot.
I like the animosity, but no, that like we talked, you said you might have agreed with coming out a little hot, but you don't risk your main event, your title opportunity, right? Like he just keeps ruining it for himself. Can't get out of his own way, it seems.
No, it really seems like that. And I think, I don't know if you saw, I think Ken Flo had really.
Oh, hell yeah.
He said something. Yeah, he goes, this is another creative way to potentially miss out on competing in a main event. What an idiot. Like, I think he's something like he just can't get out of his own way. So
that's what
it was stupid, but I do like the animosity. But yeah, kid, we're going to start in the heavyweight division.
Yo, bro. Yeah, interesting one here to kick off UFC Qatar. But you have the heavyweights, Marek Bulyo at plus 190. Still as an underdog, even though he was scheduled to fight, I think, Jose Luis or something. But here comes Denzel Freeman. We've seen him in the PFL before, you and I. We've seen him in the LFA. So the odds are favoring him at minus 190. I don't have an official play, but I probably would lean actually the incoming Freeman. It's not that short of a notice like Waldo Cortez Acosta, but I think just enough. And he's talented enough, especially on the feet. I fear that Bulio might be very one-dimensional when it comes to just grappling. I know he's a jiu-jitsu guy. So, like I said, no official play, but I gave you who I think maybe. Now the lightweights that are next, I think is going to be a test for Shamrock here on his debut. He gets his call to the UFC, but man, it's not an easy matchup. He's taking on Nurul Aliyev. I mean, this Tajik Eagle is super talented, and I like him here in this spot. I know Shamrock is, been long awaited to make his debut, but at plus 245, I think it's, enticing to maybe take the dog, but I got to go with Aliyev. Squeeze the minus 275 to take Aliyev via decision. I think if it hits the mat, Shamrock's jiu-jitsu is going to be too good to get finished there. But on the feet, you've seen how explosive Aliyev can be. So I think he edges it out on a decision. So yeah, give me Nurul Aliyev via decision at minus 110. Now I go into a middleweight matchup that I'm a little biased in because I want to see our Ultimate Fighters do well here. He's less experienced, Ryan Loder is, so he's getting the dog rate at plus 145. But Ishmael Nardiev does experience as he is with over 30 pro bouts. I can't even take him as a minus 130 favorite here. He's hard to trust. There's a lot of back and forth, loss, wins. Maybe if there's a certain trend here, you go with the win since he's coming off of a loss. But I think Ryan Loder's got that dog in him. He's traveling all the way across the world to get this fight, and he wants to put the Ultimate Fighter on the map. So let's take the dog here. I'm going to go with Ryan Loder at plus 145. Now I see a bantamweight matchup in the works for the next one. I think this is a great styles clash here. You have Beksat Almakhan at plus 120 taking on Alexandre Topuria at minus 115. Alexandre Topuria could implement his boxing, and he could come in here with his brother backing him in his corner. You saw Ilya also in the weigh-ins watching the headbutt happen and everything right there, just staring. And I think a lot of people are excited to see Alexandre Topuria, but he is not Ilya Topuria. He is not his brother. And if we've seen it before, you and I, we know to cash it with Beksat Almakhan. He's explosive on the feet. Look at the threat he put with Omar Nurmagomedov and how talented and how high level we think he is. Then he comes out in his next fight and he gets that first round knockout. I like that. I will take him straight up on the money line at plus 120 because I'd like Almakhan as a dog. But yeah, I would go all in on him to get the first round knockout and getting Alexandre Topuria out of there in the first.
Yeah, Alamkhan, he's coming off that first round KO over Brad Katona, while Topuria, obviously the brother of Ilya Topuria, he recently won his UFC debut as well. And I like him too here as a favorite because I feel like he has more ways to win. If Almakov doesn't take it in the first round, to your point, I just think Topuria, he's going to use his boxing. He's going to eventually close the distance and maybe wrestle his way to a victory. I think he has more ways to win. I'm going to trust the market. He's a favorite for a reason. Give me Topuria here at minus 125.
Opposite sides. All right. Let's go to the next fight. It's one of the more one-sided affairs if I've seen, especially what the odds indicate here. This light heavyweight matchup has Abdul Rahman Yakayev at minus 1,000 up, 10-1 odds, 1 to 10 odds that he's the favorite here against Rafael Sequeira at plus 900. We've seen Sequeira get knocked out a couple times now, and we just haven't seen the level that we expect him to be in the UFC. And Yakayev looks to be a bona fide finisher. I looked at the books. There's not much to really take here. You could go with the favorite odds of getting Yakayev with the first round finishes, even KOs and all that. But I'm going to just simply look at the book and just hope that this gets out of the first round. I have fight to start round 2 at plus 150. I think we may see Sequeira get out of the first round. He is a very big guy, right? So maybe he can match up with size against Yakayev, but I'm just concerned if he gets him out of there too quick, this ticket's completely thrown out. But I'll take a shot since it's plus 150 just to get into round 2. Now, I see the fights have been moved around a little bit just to make way. I like the way they did this a little bit more because now we're getting Alex Perez in the spot of where returning Horiguchi would have been. So Alex Perez, who is making his comeback after a little hiatus of injury, he's taking on Asu Almabayev. There could be a low-key flyer on a Kazakh kind of parlay if you want to throw Almabayev and Almakhan together because, you can see Almabayev easily winning this fight. But hey, Alex Perez has shocked us time and time again. I think he's a hard guy to finish, so I think you probably can lean Almabayev with the decision, but I'm not willing to lay it because it's still chalky. So I'll just go over 2.5 rounds, play it down the middle, and still see this fight going late. So -170 for that. It's kind of a safe bet. Now into the welterweight matchup that's next. Saigid Gakmaev is a heavy favorite against Nicholas Dalby, man. I mean, we've cashed
5 times fast.
Saigid Gakmaev. I have made money. You have made money with Nicholas Dalby in the past. It's just hard for me to go back to the well in this spot. I haven't seen Gakmaev outside of if you haven't seen him outside of the UFC, he's fought in one. He's fought all over the world. I think he is kind of a high-level fighter here. You could, I guess, back Dalby based off precedent that he's cashed in a dog spot before, but I'm actually taking a shot on the newcomer, just laying the chalk with him because I do see his ability to get the job done.
I wanted to take Nicholas Dalby, but I can't. I think the market is right on this. You got to put him in a parlay, though. You can't take
when you're seeing that plus money, the market's telling you something to try to entice you to take that. And
but Nicholas Dalby has cash for us,
and it was it was plus 500 when it was against Bonfim. Are you going to the window with it?
No, I can't. I stayed away.
There's something in the gut telling you to stay away from it. So, here's a guy who I thought you were talking about, Luke Riley here being favored at -250 on the books against Bogdan Grad at +235. And I like Grad, and I think he's there to fight, but I'm going to go with Luke Riley. He's undefeated prospect from Cage Warriors. I think he has all the tools. I'm expecting a late finish. I'm expecting Bogdan Grad to hold his own in the first, even into the second, and possibly then staying too much into the pocket in the third and getting caught by Luke Riley. So what I put on my verdict prediction was Luke Riley, 3rd round KO TKO. But yeah, straight up on the money line.
Yeah, I like Luke Riley here as well. There's a lot to like about him. Going his first fight, like you said, undefeated. For one, for watching his clips and fights, he puts on a pace that I feel like is hard for most fighters to keep up with. He has great hands as well. 8 of his 11 wins have come by way of knockout, including 3 of the last 4. And all 3 of those stoppage have come against, I feel like, top level regional opponents, which, has proven more that he's ready for this moment. So I'm a fan of the kid. I think he's going to be good. I also think the fight with Grad is a good one for him. Grad, he likes to slug, and I think
Grad reminds me of like Lando Venata, like a John Makdessi like type fighter.
Yeah, and I think he's going to oblige. He's going to want to sit there and trade with him. I just not sure if he's going to be willing to be able to keep up the pace with Luke Riley in this one. So I agree. Money line is a little rich at -280, but I do think Luke Riley gets eventually the KO TKO. And let me get you the odds for that real quick. Yeah, Luke Riley to win by KO TKO. You can get that at +150.
That's nice. Not bad at all. Yeah. I think Grad's there to deliver a hit, but he's also there to get hit. That's why I said the likes of Lando Venata, John Makdessi. You don't want to get hit one in their spinning attacks, I'll tell you that much. Let's look at this next one like I was talking about. We get Kyoji Horiguchi back on here, but, dude, no easy incoming as he takes on Brank Tagir Ulanbekov. And, man, I've backed Ulanbekov time and time again, and I've made plenty of money. Even though he's a little chalkier at -190, you might be tempted to take him. But I'm going with the dog. I'm going with Kyoji Horiguchi, the absolute legend that he is. +175 you're giving me for this legend of the sport at 125. Yeah, you can argue he's a little late in his career, and it hasn't worked out for some guys making their UFC returns, debuts, more or less, guys from other organizations. But Horiguchi's been fighting at the highest level of mixed martial arts and only has lost to the best. I think he's only lost to, like, DJ. He's only lost to, like I said, the who's who of 125. So yeah, I'm all over Kyoji Horiguchi here, and let's hope we cash here. Let's see. He lost to Sergio Pettis, Kaya Sakura, Tenshin Nasukawa, and like I said, Mighty Mouse Johnson. He's lost to the who's who of flyweights. Nothing on that.
No, nothing. I am rooting for Corey Herjaguchi though, but
Yeah,
it's a tough fight.
it's a tough fight. Tagir Ulanbekov, I think on the table for him, if you kind of like him, maybe late finish to decision, so a third round or for a decision win for Bekov. But I think Horiguchi on the feet, I think he has a slight edge. I do. Give me that plus money. And hunting some plus money here, surprisingly, could be a guy who was already on the card. But are you favoring the short notice incoming guy, Elvis's cousin, Waldo Cortez Acosta? I mean, he's favored here. He's minus 160 as Shamil Gazayev. I'm seeing his plus 140. I'm seeing that right. Correct?
Yeah.
He is a favorite.
Yep, he's the favorite.
So that's so interesting to see, man. I think we like Acosta. He looked good too on the scale. He looks highly motivated here. I don't know how much to flight. The jet lag is real. Take some time to kind of acclimate. He's right around that 3-4 day period where it starts kind of kicking in. So we hope it doesn't have any negative effects. And Shamil's going to have the crowd in his back corner. I think he's going to have a couple too many edges. I think the crowd, having the full camp, being here. Yeah, I'm going to go with the dog and Shamil Gazayev. I might hate to do it as I faded Acosta before and I've paid dearly. So let's see. Let's see if I get it wrong again. D-Rock, are you taking Acosta here?
No, I'm not touching this fight if I'm being honest. Yeah, I got the last three. I got the main event, co-main, and then the
Yeah, I kind of went with Gazayev just like I went with last time.
I can't get Waldo Cortez Acosta fights right. I back him, he loses. I fade him for 2 fights in a row. He wins a split decision. He goes out there. He knocks him out. First of all, he gets knocked out and then winds up knocking him out. I can't get it right.
Yeah, dude. That's what I was like going to just pick the opposite of you. I had a feeling you might have gone with Acosta, but we move on. Let's go with the welterweight matchup here between Jack Hermanson.
New weight class.
Plus 215. Man, they're counting him out against Mike Tibet Oroblai. Minus 230 here. I don't think it's as cut and dry as it seems. Hermanson making his welterweight debut here has got to mean something, right? Look what he did at 185 to Joe Pyfer, right? So he's able to handle big guys. He's handled certain threats, and he's got cardio for days. I think something we question with Oroblai. I do think Jack Hermanson's live here, but I am taking Oroblai. So I got 2 fights back to back that I'm kind of going against my kind of better judgment, but I'm going to stick with Oroblai.
All right.
Heavyweight matchup, Volkan Ozdemir minus 225.
Light heavyweight.
Yeah, light heavyweight matchup. Alonzo Menefield is plus 200, man. I think you look at this fight and you can easily hit the under, right? You see 2 guys that just knock people out. But I think the X factor here is Menefield's ability to grapple, right? Ozdemir does look like a fish out of water sometimes when he's getting grappled. And Menefield now wants to open up that part of his game. And as of late, he's starting to utilize it. They don't call him Atomic Alonzo Menefield for nothing, so I still think he has that knockout ability. But he himself can't get touched by Ozdemir because he can knock anybody out. So, I think it's a volatile fight. Like I said, you could smash the under, but the over could hit. You get the over, and the under would happen. I think Menefield with that X factor, with the wrestling, makes me want to side with him. So I'm going to go dog hunting here. I'm going to take the plus 200 with Atomic Alonzo Menefield, just based off his ability to maybe wrestle in there. So a couple more ways to win, but like I said, watch out for Ozdemir just flatlining him.
Yeah, I agree. At 2-1 underdog, I'm taking Alonzo Menefield as well. Ideally, I think the fight should stay on the feet, and I just think Alonzo Menefield, he carries heavier punches, and Menefield, he's won his past 2 fights by decision, which I think shows the evolution of his cardio and the ability to win later in the rounds, while Ozdemir, he's shown a decline in cardio in recent fights. So if the fight gets past the first round, which I think it could, I think it favor Alonzo Menefield. So, yeah, I'm going to take Alonzo Menefield here, plus 207.
Crazy dog price right there, my man. I'm doubling down. That's what I'm doing. I'm doubling down right here now that you took Menefield, and I'm putting all my XP on Alonzo Menefield. So let's talk about the co-main event here. Remember the name, Bilal Muhammad, plus 240 in the slot against Ian Machado. Gary, who is a favorite at minus 250. D-Rock, give us your opinion. Your boy, Bilal Muhammad.
If you've been a fan of me and the show, you know where I'm going. At the end of the fight, people just need to remember the name Bilal Muhammad plus 240. This fight's going to come down to whether or not Muhammad could get the fight to the ground. And I think he's going to be smarter and not try to box or strike with Ian Machado Gary. And I just expect Bilal to be smarter than his championship fight and wrestle and get Machado down and at least win 2 to 3 of the rounds. And when fighting off of his back, I just don't think Ian Machado Gary offers much submission threats to anyone. So you want to take the fighter, take a safer route. I think take the fight to go to decision, maybe put that in one of your parlays, but plus 240, I think the value has to be with Bilal Muhammad.
Yeah, there's absolute value with Bilal Muhammad. I can't deny that. But you know me, I had to fade him in this spot. I think we're kind of going in with the new, out with the old. Unfortunately for Bilal Muhammad, it was kind of short-lived. But I am going with Ian Machado Gary to, I think, somewhat upset him. Even though he's the favorite on the books, I think this is a lot to overcome. Ex-champion, Bilal Muhammad's very well-rounded. I think look out for the takedowns that Bilal didn't get in his last matchup. I think he's going to hunt for those. So, yeah, if Ian Machado Gary can stand up on the feet, though, I think that the length and the quickness is maybe a little too much. Bilal Muhammad has great footwork, but I think the kicks may also be a flaw in his defense. So, yeah, Ian Machado Gary, you know all too well. We see it in Charlotte. He's got some pretty quick kick. So I had to go against you in that one. That's why I said, are you picking your boy? Remember the name. We may not be remembering it after this. Ian Machado Gary. Sorry about that. Let's go into the main event. Man, we almost did not have this as a main event. We would have had Bilal and Ian as the main event if there was blood drawn from that headbutt from Arman Tsarukyan, who is completely overshadowing Dan Hooker here. I mean, the reemergence of Dan Hooker in his career is a sight to behold. You got to respect the warrior spirit, the determination he has in his career. And maybe he's alive plus 430, especially after that headbutt incident. You think he's going to awaken the beast, but I think that, unfortunately, if Dan Hooker beats Tsarukyan, I don't think we're going to give him a shot in hell to beat Ilia Topuria, right? So I think we need an absolute number one contender, the threat that should have been there, and we probably should have had this fight already, but here's to say, Arman Tsarukyan via KO TKO plus 155. I think he's the next for Ilia Topuria.
You saw Ilia Topuria, and when he headbutt, he's just sitting in the back just watching.
Smiling.
He's just smiling like these guys are buffoons. I think the value has to be with Hangman here. I mean,
yeah, of course.
4-1 is insane.
Crazy.
I might not be a sharp, but holy shit, 4-1 is crazy right now. I'm gonna take Tsarukyan here to win inside the distance at minus 143. You know, while Hooker, I think he's a very fun, very tough, durable fighter, but Tsarukyan has knockout power. He has elite wrestling. I just don't think Hooker will be able to hang for 5 rounds with Tsarukyan. So I think Tsarukyan's gonna look to take Hooker down eventually and just ground and pound and eventually put the fight away. So I'm gonna take Tsarukyan here inside the distance at minus 143.
Yeah, I think that's a safe bet right there. I went in on the KO TKO because some feels me it might be shades of the Benny BSD fight. I feel like Tsarukyan might touch Dan Hooker and knock him out. I know his chin is held up throughout his career, but I don't know, man. It just seems levels, bro. It really does.
Would it surprise you if Dan Hooker knocked him out?
Yeah, absolutely. I don't see that at all.
No.
I don't see how Dan Hooker can really win this fight. It would have to be a bloodbath. I think he would have to cut him, doctor stoppage, or just.
And he's gonna be laughing and going in the corner saying, "I love this shit."
Yeah, but he might not have a chance if he gets done in one, right? So we'll see. I root him on, but I think we talk about it. We have athletes kind of tell us who they are. And I think they're more or less, like you said, the median, not the exceptions at certain points in their career. And I think Dan Hooker has middled more than he has excelled. I think it's going to average out. I think you're going to see more of Tsarukyan showing how he is championship material.
Well, make sure you set your alarms for tomorrow morning, 10 a.m. prelims, 1 o'clock main card on ESPN and ESPN Plus. Joe, good luck.
Yes, sir.
Let's go to boxing. Ring 4, Night of Champions in Riyadh, Saudi Arabia, November 22nd. Very fun main card. You got your boy Jesse Bam Rodriguez taking out Fernando Martinez. We got the return of Devin Haney, your boy, taking on Brian Norman Jr., David Benavidez. That's my guy. But we're going to touch the whole main card, Joe. I'll let you lead it off.
Yeah, I mean, I see Bam's fights up first, and Fernandez Martinez is no slouch, but as the odds indicate, giving him an 11-1 compared to Jesse Bam Rodriguez, I think Rodriguez is the right side, but I think surprising play here would be Bam Rodriguez outdoes the statistics time and time again at his weight classes, getting KOs and TKOs, but I feel like a sneaky play here would be to take Bam Rodriguez via decision at plus 290, plus 300 on some odds. Just based off that, he has decision wins, and Fernando Martinez is a championship level fighter. Remember, he is having a belt into this mix. So yeah, I think that Bam Rodriguez could outdo him for 12 rounds and he can win on the judges' scorecards. How? Maybe it's a little closer than anticipated. That's why you played safe with just the decision bet at plus 290.
He's a huge favorite.
Yeah, massive favorite. If you look at him via KO TKO, it's like -3. It's like a $3 favorite. It's crazy.
I think Jesse gets a late TKO round.
I think that's value too. As the odds indicate, I think him getting it around like 7 and above are also -150 or something. And then like if you pick 7 through 9, it's still kind of favored. And then like what does it be? 10 through 12 is probably also.
I just think like he likes to be picky with his shots, and both obviously are forward pressure boxers, but I just think Rodriguez he's going to use his speed, his footwork, and I just think he's going to eventually back down Fernando and put him away.
The body shots. These guys, they invest into the body, and it's good at that lower weights. It's good at any weight, and I mean here for the WBO World Lightweight title, Abdullah Mason is favorited -350. I'm seeing here against Sam Noakes at plus 350. And D-Rock, I got a surprise for you. I've been backing a lot of these young upstarts. Coming in and making a name for themselves. And, they fought some pretty good competition coming in, but Sam Noakes, man, mind you, 28 years of age, a full grown man with some knockout power. Abdullah Mason has been dropped a couple times in his early career. Maybe you could say it's because he was fighting a high level at 16, 17 years old. And here he is at 2021, taking on a big fight here. So nothing could be said against Abdullah Mason. It's just that Sam Noakes may be willing to do the upset. So yeah, plus 350. I see a lot of value on Sam Noakes here in this spot.
Wow. Gonna go the opposite way. I do like unanimous decision for Abdullah Mason. Even though, both big punchers, he's much. I think Abdullah Mason is just quicker than Sam Noakes here. And I think he could wait for him to eventually counter punch and inflict the significant damage and just kind of win off rounds here. And I think Mason's best punches are that left straight, the right hook. Usually, he's the one pursuing his opponents against the rope, but I think he might be the counter striker in this one. So I think he's very disciplined, and I think he's just going to win off some rounds. So, and I just think Sam Noakes is too tough to get put out. So I'll take unanimous decision for Abdullah Mason here.
Yeah, I see it reaching the judges' scorecards. So maybe you want to put a Sam Noakes decision for me. Hey, may the best man win in that one. I think that's gonna be an entertaining fight.
Close one here for the co-main.
Yeah, it's a pick 'em, right? Am I wrong?
No, Brian Norman, slight favorite, -120.
Slight favorite now.
Yeah.
It's funny because I saw coming in, Haney was the favorite, right? More money was in on him. So people are realizing who Brian Norman Jr. is, right? He is a champion. He is putting his belt up on the line. It's not Devin Haney's belt. It's world welterweight title holder Brian Norman Jr. And if you looked at the weigh-ins, though, he did look a little bit smaller than Devin Haney. I think that was surprising to me. But I like Brian Norman a lot. I like the character he is. They were talking about like fashion, all this and that. He's like, man, we're not talking about boxing. Look where the sport has become. Look where we've got to this point. And during the weigh-ins, he was stoic as you got Devin Haney's father, like, yelling in his face and just all this, like trying to get him riled up. But Norman was just standing there, like I said, stoic. So I like everything about Brian Norman Jr. But how could Devin Haney lose this type of fight? I think Devin Haney's going to win. So against better judgment, against kind of a heart pick, I'm going to bet with my mind and taking Devin Haney just because it's this type of situation where, of course, he's going to win, right? Of course he'll win. And of course, if it gets to the judges, I see that they're not going to fade Devin Haney. So it's trying to get their money horse back on the track. And I think they do so with a title given to Devin Haney.
Yeah, I'm gonna go the other way. I'm gonna take Brian Norman Jr. here on the
Nice.
money line -120. I even think he could get a KO TKO
That'd
here
be
against
beautiful.
Devin Haney. Because I think the massive difference is the punching power. I think Brian Norman, he has that one punch knockout ability, and I think he could put anybody in the weight class to sleep. Obviously, Devin Haney is a more defensive counter puncher. He kind of uses his footwork, his head movement, kind of avoids people. But I just think Norman is
He's a
eventually going to
hunter.
catch it. Yeah, he's a hunter. He's going to catch him. And I think he has clean power punch. And once it lands, I think Norman Jr. is going to eventually capitalize, and go for the finish. So I think Hanley, he's also struggled to fight power punchers as well.
Yeah.
So, and we saw it
Brian
with the
Norman
Ryan
Jr.
Garcia and the Vasily Lomachenko fight. So I'm going to take Brian Norman Jr. here. I know everyone's going to take Devin Haney, but I'm on Brian Norman Jr. in this one.
I love it. Mad respect for you there. And then the WBC World Light Heavyweight title, you have David Benavidez -900 taking on Anthony Yardy at plus.
They're all
900.
huge favorites.
Yeah, big favorites on this card, except for the one we just spoke about, and that's why we're on opposite sides. I didn't expect you to see the Sam Noakes fight come in there, but I think we're going to be on the same side here. I'm going with David Benavidez, and I'm going with him to pick up the KO TKO. I know he's gone to judges a lot and dominated in such fashion, and Yardy's tough enough to maybe get there, but I think Benavidez wants to put a stamp on this, and he does so by getting the finish. So yeah, KO TKO right now for him is -155.
Yeah, that's exactly what I got. I'm going to take David Benavidez via KO TKO. He has the speed advantage. He's accurate with his punches, and once he's going and he finds his rhythm, I just think it's hard for anyone to stop him when he throws a lot of those combinations.
Oh, yeah.
And I think he's eventually going to stalk his opponent, Anthony Yardy, and get him against the ropes. And I think that's where David Benavidez thrives. And once he corners them, he lands those combos. He puts it on the body, the head. He's going to eventually overwhelm his opponent, and he's going to put him out. So, yeah, give me David Benavidez KO TKO as well.
Let's have a weekend.
Yeah, let's have a weekend, kid. Some news and notes before we get up out of here.
Yeah, what you got?
It was rumored last week. It is announced. They just had their meeting or press conference. Jake Paul versus Anthony Joshua, heavyweight bout, Friday, November 19th. It's a professional bout, 8 3-minute rounds, 10-ounce gloves, and AJ cannot weigh above 245.
I think that's the only thing that they got that gives Jake a chance is having a little bit of the depleted Joshua. Mm-hmm. But didn't he make 130 something in his last? Was it 138 or 140? It was not 146, so he should be able to make that
240.
Easily.
You mean?
Yeah, 240. Thank you.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, I think the reactions are right. It's crazy. It's a professional bout. Jake Paul's crazy. He's done it, and you can't say like you have what is it? What's his name? John Fury, right? You have him coming out saying that Anthony Joshua ruined the only thing pure in your life. Then if that's the case, then your son Tommy has also as well. Yeah. So I can't.
And he said no to the fight.
We can't speak to hypocrisy. Yeah, exactly. There you go. So at the end of the day, we may not give Jake Paul a shot if it comes down to being legit. Anthony Joshua, as we talked about last episode, being a legitimate boxer, he should knock out Jake Paul within 3 rounds. But Jake Paul's been nothing but boxing.
Francis as well.
He's been boxing. Jake Paul's been doing nothing but boxing for the past 5 years. He's evolved into the sport, and this is amazing for him. I think scary for himself and his family. He shouldn't have much success in there, though. Let's be real about it, right? Like if this is a real contested bout, which it's going to be on their permanent records, Anthony Joshua, like I said, should knock him out within 3.
Yeah, he went from facing Tank 5'5", 135-pounder to a 6'6", 245.
Oh my god, dude! Yeah, bro,
it's insane. AJ by KO TKO. Also, unfortunately, Chris Weidman of his fight against Anderson Silva. Here comes Tyron Woodley taking on Anderson Silva. Do you like that? It's on the undercard.
I don't like it. No.
Wow.
I like the Weidman fight a little bit more. Maybe they should just rescheduled it. Why take the fight with Tyron Woodley? I think Silva's got too much, heart to know any better. That I just get concerned. Silva's got to it looks like his chin can't take too many shots anymore. I think
No.
Woodley still got it. So
You saw that fight between him and Chael Sonnen in Brazil. They were just sparring.
Yeah, bro. So I mean, like Tyron Woodley, I think is still, only around 40 years of age. He's gonna have a little more spring in his step, and I think he's still gonna be, in there. Like he's still gonna have a chin. Like Weidman and Silva made more sense. This does not make much sense, so that's why I'm not a fan.
Tony Ferguson, El Kukui, will take on Warren Spencer for the Misfits Boxing interim middleweight title.
Why interim? Why can't Tony get an actual title?
Talk to Mams. Talk to your boy Andrew Tate.
Insane.
Their CEO now.
So no more interim titles for Tony Ferguson. We can't do this no more.
Ryan Garcia, he is signed about to fight Mario Barrios for the WBC welterweight world title February 21st. The winner probably going to fight Conor Benn next, I feel like. But you like this fight for Ryan Garcia?
Yeah, let's see what happens with Devin Haney, right? If he loses his chance at the belt and Ryan Garcia wins, who really gets the last laugh? I mean, it's Ryan Garcia all the way.
Yeah. 10 seconds left. We're going to Monday, kid, in Japan.
That's right. Yeah, for the WBC World Bantamweight title, Takuma Inoue plus 350 is taking on Tenshin Nasukawa, and you got to take Tenshin Nasukawa via KO TKO plus 320. I think he's going to get that knockout early in the morning. Like you said, 3 a.m. start time Monday. So that's after Sunday Night Football if you stay up that late. Like I was staying up late for that 173 card. That was a fun one. I was up till 6:30 in the morning watching fights. I can't get enough of their fights.
Kid, good luck. How did we do last 10 seconds left? We win or no?
We got back on track. Yeah.
Okay.
We went off the rails a little bit before. But man, if you didn't see that, BKFC is on fire. He was down just like he was against the Marine Richmond. Juggernaut Hunt, Lorenzo Hunt was getting beat up, getting dropped twice in the first round, and then with 12 seconds left, delivered a lethal right hand to absolutely make his opponent rendered unconscious and became the light heavyweight champion again. So yeah, shout out to Lorenzo Juggernaut Hunt. We met him. I met him in Columbia, South Carolina when BKFC came down here. As we talk about time and time again, Brian Sosha, Dave Feldman, the whole entire BKFC gang. It's a family over there, and they're just great people.
Absolutely. Kid, good luck. Should be a hell of a weekend of fights. Hey, happy Thanksgiving. Doing anything?
Yeah, staying with the family. Happy Thanksgiving to everyone, and then we'll see you all Black Friday.
Yep, we'll see you guys on Black Friday. Enjoy the fights. Good luck, and we'll see you guys next week. Peace.